excited that we're here in Ohio. We're about to start our first day of visits to schools and settings here, and this evening we have a communication friendly spaces seminar that we're delivering to up to 120 educators at the library in Austinstown.
Today is an amazing day for me because from one small email that I wrote somebody over across the seas in England, this reality has come for our region, and I'm so excited that massive amount of people are going to hear the message and that 10 schools are going to be able to participate in our action research project. So it is just so exciting for me.
And what's happening right now?
And right now we were very adamant about getting press coverage for this. So one of our local TV stations showed up, and they are currently going to interview Elizabeth about her research and what is going to take place over the next few months in Ohio.
Thank you.
Excited.
This is Mill Creek Gardens in Ohio, in Youngstown State, and it's a children's garden which has been created and provides so many opportunities for communication. There are vegetable beds, herb beds, flower beds, the use of lots of reclaimed materials, little areas to group and gather, areas providing shade. There's natural screening, little pergolas, digging areas with canopies providing shade. Lots and lots of points of interest around the garden. Also the use of some reclaimed materials, an old fireplace over there, just as a point of interest, setting the scene for all kinds of imaginative role play to take place.
We've had a great day today visiting a variety of different schools and early years provision here in Ohio. We've had the opportunity to meet head teachers and to meet the staff and to tour inside and outside spaces in the schools. Really lots of ideas here about how to develop outside spaces particularly, and a lot of excitement about the Action Research Project. We're now at the library in Austinstown preparing for a seminar this evening, and we have people who've travelled from across the state attending and out of the state as well to hear some of the key messages around communication friendly spaces. We've just finished our evening seminar in Ohio, and we had a great turnout from practitioners and teachers from across the state. They responded incredibly well to the input. They were fascinated to reconsider the way that they were using their environment. They were very open to the principles underpinning communication friendly spaces, and it was very obvious that they were making direct connections back with their practice and their current provision. So we're really looking forward to having some more feedback from them as they begin to work with the principals and begin to make changes that are hopefully really meaningful for the children that they're working with.
Hey, my car. Oh, keys. I forgot your bag in my car.
Oh, okay. They're on the table.
You could just go out and get it at the end.
I'll get it. No, are you sure?
We'll start Diana and they can join us if they know you.
Michelle, I think you were talking a little bit about how we incorporated the children in this process. The first year that we had it, they got to see each of the steps. So there's actually, the boards down below it, and then the chart that they filled. And so the children were just naturally very interested. And so we incorporated them in the whole process and looking at what needs to be done to make this pond, and how can we make a pond inside. That was kind of, something that was different. Normally you don't see a pond inside. So, Michelle, what else can you share about that?
Who built it?
I just shared. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's okay. They got to feel like they were a part of it too by adding their names to the board. They signed their names to each of the boards there. And it really stemmed questions and conversations around building and using tools, and how they could build something similar to this in their own lives. So we had lots of little ponds that they were building, and so they were really trying to replicate what they saw and explore through that. So it really was a neat project.
This would be a community for not only our children but our families, so we wanted it to have that comfort, and it really lends to so many conversations, and just it's a great focal point and way to help everyone kind of get through the day a little bit differently.
Inspired by what the children were doing with fabric in my reading area last year. They were putting up the fabric against the board and taping it to the shelf. So this year I wanted to provide something for them that could be here every day. They didn't have to set it up each day and figure out how to do it. So they love to go under that lowered space in that area.
I like this here. You've got the little clip, this mini clipboard.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them that size before.
Each kid has their name on it, so they can use it throughout the day in the classroom. But a lot of times we'll go outside to the garden area and they can do drawing, or this is actually left. We went on a letter hunt and number hunt through the hallways, and they just wrote down what they saw. So yeah, we use those almost every day in different ways.
I'm just noticing, you've not got, it's lovely to see that you've got areas where children can kneel, to have different levels, yeah.
Yes. That was really important. Last year, I had it, the writing center was at a sitting table, but only a few chairs could fit at it. This year I lowered it so that lots of people can be around it, and we weren't confined by the chairs and the space around it.
Both were kind of drawn over here. One of the things that I tried to do is to create a sense of wonder for the kids first, and create a cozy environment where throughout the room there's different places where they might be busier working, and different places where they need to slow down. And so that's a lot of what we've been working on now is, okay, I may be busy working over there, but then when I walk over to the tent, it's a natural place where we need to slow down. We're going to breathe and enjoy a story or a book. So that's one of the things that I always try to create in different parts of the room, some sense of wonder, as well as making it very open for the kids to interact and be excited about it. So,
I like your frames.
Thank you. Yeah. And I put a couple of things up there. One of the things that we use a lot of open-ended materials here, and that's just a perfect example of, we had the magazines out and we were doing some cutting, and one of the students just started gluing and cutting, and they honestly looked like something that's, you would pay for in your house, some sort of modern abstract art. It was really neat. And I just thought to myself, again, this is why we use open-ended materials, because I would have never ever thought of it. So
I didn't realize that.
yeah.
What I've noticed is that the majority of environments that we visited this week, there has always been a teacher's desk in the room, and you haven't got that here.
And that's one of the expectations that we actually have for the classrooms, because we really want this space to be for children. And many of our teachers have had a hard time as they've transitioned in, because they wanted that space for themselves. And so we help to identify another area in the building where they can have that space to keep their resources, and they haven't missed it as they've gotten into the year, and they do recognize what it does open up within their design of the environment.
And also, as you were saying earlier, it's about thinking around whose space is this anyway.
Yes, exactly.
To see what happens. Does that make a difference in terms of the children who actually go and access it? If you make that into a really comfortable space, You know, what happens inside it? If it's got screening, does that alter the kind of conversations that you're seeing? Which children group and gather there? Are they spending longer there? So you're really trying to do a before and an after piece. So it's just tuning into something. It could be as simple as that. It doesn't need to be a huge, big scheme, although obviously we want you to be using that information to inform further development. But it's trying to observe in that kind of way. And we've put a template together on the USB stick, which encourages you to look at where's the communication happening now, here, and that's then going to inform staff discussion, and then for you to document the change, really. So it's the before, during and after, so that we can then add that case study into a report and a wider guidance to share emerging findings. So we've had another great day here in Ohio, and we've visited 2 different settings this morning. We also have been working today with the Action Research Group and sharing with them some of the emerging findings from our UK Action Research project. The group were really excited about starting their programme here, and will be working over the next 2 months to develop some really effective spaces outside. They're also beginning to plan how they're going to use the time over the next 2 months to cascade some of the thinking with their colleagues, and also to capture some of the impact of the changes that they make. It was really good to hear that they were making short, medium and long-term plans in order to sustain this work beyond the 2 months project timeframe.